Yay! How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I'm at my academy right now. Good. Ooh, I had a cool angle for it, like in the movie. I was watching that Netflix Luke Cage thing, and the guy had a Biggie Smalls thing on his wall. Anyways, it doesn't matter. It won't work.
Well, I was just gonna say, if you lean back, it looks like you have a crown on your head.
That's how he did it. He had like a giant Biggie poster in his like office, and I was like, oh, that's such a bad guy thing to have. That's cool. I want that. So I got this Biggie. This was a while ago. I just had a bunch of lockers I moved around, so I got room.
So I know you don't want to talk about coronavirus. I will do my best to avoid coronavirus.
Yeah. Well, I just feel like we got to keep living at some point. So there's plenty of other stuff we can talk about too.
Totally. Okay, go ahead.
No, it's not like, when you go over, I don't know, like everyone I interact with, it's all they want to talk about. I'm like, we got other stuff too, like this will be over. We're going to have to go back to other stuff. Like I have this whole after school program thing I'm working on right now. So it's just been like taking up a ton of my time. So like nobody asked me about that.
Well, I'm totally gonna ask you about that.
All these, like we have to keep, it's just like if somebody passes away, like I've had a lot of family pass away, and that's all that anybody wants to do is they want to talk about that, or at some point you have to move on and keep living, so whatever. Yeah.
Well, on that note, can you introduce yourself and tell the crowd who you are? The crowd.
Yeah. I'm Cris Lencioni. I go by Sunshine. Most of the time they just call me Coach Chris. I own Sunshine Athletics. I fight. I fought under the Bellator cage 6 times. I don't know where I'll be fighting next. I'm in, what is it? I'm a free agent. I guess a cool free agent. Yeah. Had pretty good wins. I won a lot of fights. I wrestle people. I got blonde hair.
Awesome. Well, I mean, the first thing I want to talk about is Submission Underground, because you just competed. Are you still competing in 2 days?
Yeah. We just got. I got a match against a kid that I went against when I was a blue belt, at one of these tournaments a long time ago. I was like, why does that name sound familiar? And then he was like, I did an open weight tournament. One of the guys on there was one of the Team Alpha Male wrestling coaches. He was a huge dude. I beat him. I beat some other pro fighter. This is when I was still an amateur. And then I went against this super scrappy purple belt. And there's a whole sports jiu-jitsu side. And that was my first time experiencing sports jiu-jitsu, was going against this kid in the finals, and I lost in triple overtime. That was my first time with the overtime rules too. So since then, that was at a blue belt. So now I'm super pro at it.
So is it, I looked it up, is it Austin? I don't know how you say Deffron. Is that who it is?
That's him, but I don't know how you say him at all. I don't even think Austin is his name either. But yeah, and it'll be kind of fun because he just went against a couple friends of mine in a tournament at the 10th Planet here in Portland. And he was kind of smacking around one of my little proteges. And I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. So he's going to get smacked around. I don't like jits guys sometimes because they do shit stuff. There's no kids here, so I don't feel bad cussing. They do stuff that I have that. I like the mentality of if you can get hit doing it, you should get hit. I don't know. That's why I like the combat jiu-jitsu, but I've never been invited to any of those. I'm not cool enough. So.
Oh, maybe you're too cool.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I went against. There was a couple. That guy I'm going against. His first match in the combat jiu-jitsu EBI thing or whatever, a bit back, was against another guy I went against. And I beat him, and then that guy beat this guy that I'm going against. So it's a whole cycle of these jits guys. And I'm cool with that. I like being in the category. I think I'm a high level jiu-jitsu player, but I have the more self-defense traditional background behind it of MMA. I think that gets it done. I especially love the cage. He's going to love the cage too.
That sounds ominous.
It's foreshadowing is that's the word.
So I mean, obviously there's huge differences between competing in jiu-jitsu and competing in MMA, but what would you say the biggest preparation difference is? Obviously no striking.
Well, as of right now, there's a lot of things people will do, like suicide throws, and these like Imanari rolls and all sorts of stuff like that, which you rarely ever see work at a high level. Like you saw that one, I think it was Israeli or something kid did an Imanari roll on a guy that has like no concept of defending leg locks and just tapped right away. It was like, you would never be able to do that to anybody that's like a purple belt or higher from the States. Like that's something you do to someone in another country that like maybe their jiu-jitsu isn't as up to standard. You know what I mean? There is a standard that we have over here, like black belts over here competing overseas. I mean, you see where all the champions come from. It's not like an ego thing. It's just a statistical thing. But in jits, yeah, they do a lot of stuff that would just get your ass kicked in a fight. And when you notice in the combat jiu-jitsu matches, everybody's style changes. They're actually playing closed guard. They're actually like working real traditional jiu-jitsu. And for the record, I wanted a gi match too. And I didn't get my gi match. He conceded it. So is that like a double win if I win Sunday?
Yeah.
Right?
I think so.
Yeah, so whatever. Yeah. I like the gi. I think it's the more traditional route anyways. I have a lot of women and young ladies in my program, and you know, we live in Oregon, dude. They're not going to be wearing spats out in the real world. They're going to wear a jacket and stuff like that. Pacific Northwest, it's cold as shit here. Choke them out with the jacket, you know, loop chokes. So
actually, that you bring up something that I was discussing on my Twitter recently about self-defense and gi, and you know, there's like I don't know if there's like a school of thought that if you're going to try jiu-jitsu for the first time, you have to train in the gi first before you can train in spats. What's your thought on that? A lot of that had to do with self-defense.
Gi. Well, if you're doing self-defense, gi all day. You're not fighting people at the beach. You're not fighting them in a bathhouse or a sauna. It's going to be, I mean, the random attacks in life are, you know, you're walking into the supermarket. I mean, I've seen some crazy shit, you know, just walking downtown Portland, a dude jumped at me multiple times. That's happened. And what was I wearing? I was wearing a pair of jeans. I was wearing a jacket because it's a little chilly out, you know, and they're generally wearing a jacket, especially crazy, you know, mentally ill people out there. They all seem to have big old trench coats. Yeah, that's like
uniform.
That's perfect for a double lapel freaking toss, you know. So you got to go gi. You got to respect the tradition of it, respect the gi. That's actually like an artist is doing a whole collection on that right now called Respect the Gi. And I really, really like the drawings he's doing. And you just notice the level of control, whereas like in no-gi, people that are like no-gi black belts, I don't know. I don't understand that concept. It's like, it's two different worlds of jiu-jitsu. So like if I was going to go join a 10th planet, I would want to start out at the beginning and put me through your little tests and ringers, because it's a whole different concept of jiu-jitsu, you know, versus the gi. If people are constantly turning down gi matches, what does that say about your jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, that's true.
Impractical.
Who do you feel has the best gi jiu-jitsu right now, current?
Dude, that's really tough. You know, I wish it would go. I don't see a lot of like gi sub only matches, you know, like kind of how Sug is doing it. I wish that this big main event one with the Vinny Magalesh and Craig Jones was a gi match. That'd be really fun to see, even with heel hooks allowed, you know, because I know that like no heel hooks in the gi, blah blah blah. I don't know. I don't really have a good opinion on it. You know who I really like is that I wouldn't say best, but he's definitely like on my mind, is that Mikey Musemi or some shit. I don't know what he is. Is he like Brazilian? He's like a small guy. Him and his sister are black belts out on the East Coast. And he's around my size, so he's a smaller guy. And he like went in like 3 different weight classes, dude, and won them all IBJJF. And he didn't really like outpoint anybody. He beat the Miayo brothers. I don't know, dude. You know, I'm freaking like Oregon grown American. I don't know all these international grapplers, dude, you know?
There's so many.
Yeah, there's a lot.
And they all have really similar, hard to pronounce names.
Yeah, and they're all world champions, but it's like really confusing because there's too many. It's just, I don't know, it's all confusing. That's why I like fighting. It's like a little more concrete.
Yeah. Well, what about, who do you think has the best jiu-jitsu in MMA right now?
You know, shoot, the one who I saw use it the best was Rafael Lovato Jr. Great jiu-jitsu, man. That dude is just outstanding and still undefeated, right? I mean, and I don't even know if he's going to be able to fight him, right? Like a brain thing on.
Yeah.
He had great jiu-jitsu. I'm trying to think of some other people that tied it together really well. I don't know. I get really like, I wouldn't say defensive, but I'm like, oh, Dad, I want to do this. But so I don't know. He's like the first one that comes to mind for jiu-jitsu, high-level jiu-jitsu and MMA. The other one is what's that new guy? He's like super roided out in the UFC. He like had a giant like hematoma on his eye. It was like one of the last fights to happen before it was on the Izzy Romero card. I can't remember his name.
I don't know. I was there, so now I'm like, who are you talking about?
Jacked, like 200-pound Brazilian.
We're not talking about Paulo Costa.
Natural, just like totally got this badass choke in the first round, but he did take some damage doing it. I can't remember his name, dude. It's something crazy. But I'm pretty sure that's the fight card he was on. Was that one with the most lackluster title defense of history?
Yeah. Oh, that was terrible.
Yeah, bad.
Okay, I'm gonna get controversial here. I want some shit talking.
Yeah,
Who do you think has the who's the most overrated jiu-jitsu person out there right now? Either in MMA or outside.
Oh, Dylan Dienas. That's the first person I would say. That dude's like so overrated for having so little experience. And then now I say his name, it gives him power, dude.
I know.
It gives that guy power, you know. But even I mean, I hate to pick on AJ. I hate to pick on you know, some of these Bellator guys because they have like high level grappling credentials. But some of them you see him fighting, like a black belt can become a white belt with just a couple hits, you know. That's what I like about fighting. It's a real equalizer of like, it's the perfect balance of like primal and technical. If you're all, you know, roided out muscles swinging like an idiot brawler, you might get to a certain level in MMA, but not, you know, eventually someone will figure it out. And if you're too technical, like I've definitely been too technical at times and I've paid for it. Like in my fight with Taiwan, my coach was like, keep yourself in the close guard. And then I watched back and I'm like, man, I think that's what kind of messed me up was, you know, I was comfortable with that in my head and I should have just got a little ghetto and just like, boom, pushed off. Like last couple fights I've had, I just kind of mix in a little ghetto with a little technique. So, but definitely Dylan Dienas, dude, that guy is so overrated.
So
Brett Primus is the best grapplers in MMA. I'll say that too for jiu-jitsu. Who hits a go-go plata like it's nothing. Think about that. Brett Primus. I mean, his grappling is like, dude, he's top notch. Like him and if he went against Dylan Dennis, he would just wreck his ass open, dude. He'd have a whole nother crack on his ass, dude. That'd be bad.
Yeah. You mentioned AJ, and I know I've talked to you about this fight, and it goes back and forth. You say you want to fight him, and then you told me you don't want to fight him, and then we put the article out, and then you were like, I do want to fight him. So yeah. What do you want to do right now?
He's like it's like a crazy stripper ex-girlfriend, you know? No, I'm just kidding.
I wouldn't know.
No, really, at this point in my career, I've taken a lot of lumps to get to where I'm at. And I'm looking for like a legitimate opportunity. Even my last fight, like I had a broken leg and then the doctor said, hey, yeah, it's broken right now. It also may have been broken earlier and you may have trained with a broken leg for, you know, many, many weeks. And it's like that concept of like, how, you know, I had a broken leg and I didn't even know it and I'm training. Like that's how much damage I've taken in the last like 6 years. I've busted out a lot of fights and then fights falling off and stuff. I really am just looking for that, like, that next step in my pyramid scheme of fighting, you know, like when do I get to be the guy who sells Cutco knives to the Cutco knife salesman? I want to be the middleman. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm looking at, you know, so every fight now really, I know there's like a lot of fun fights I'd like to do, but like, I think a perfect example is my last fight. That was like me, people say 50% this and that, but they don't have any hard evidence. I had a broken fucking leg. Like, and if you watch, I just watched that fight again. I was like, oh, damn, okay. How do people not see me winning that fight? I was the most active fighter there. I mean, it wasn't like spectacular, but damn, it was, I mean, especially with the broken leg, that was some pretty good. I was very methodical with my movement because I knew it was broken pretty quickly. And so I don't know about AJ. We'll see. I'm always deflecting. I know that's just like a number one thing to do.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess that's good because if you say yes, you want to fight him and then you change your mind, or if you say no, you don't want to fight him, and that way it's a safe answer.
Yeah. It's just about, you know what? I hate to say money. I hate to say money talks, but like I got a lot of other cool stuff, like real life stuff that I'm working on. Like fighting to me is just like this make believe. It's like competing in a Call of Duty tournament. It's like whatever. Like I take it incredibly serious. Like if I was going to do a Call of Duty tournament or something, dude, I'd take that to heart because I'm not losing. Like I'm competitive by nature. I love competing. But when it comes to fighting now and my future and everything like that, like I want some freaking babies, I've been working the last year building a house, from scratch, building an academy for the last 2 years. I want some, some money moves. So I've earned it.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk to you about the leg. When did you realize, you said early on, at what point in the fight did you realize like something's not right?
I want to say it was like off of an immediate scramble. I was trying to remember it. I was watching the fight, and in the first minute of watching, I was like, bam, right there. It was off of like a single leg kind of transition thing. And that was it. Cause it was like it's like a hairline. It's like healed, It's been broken and healed or something like that, as the doctor said, but then it re-broke in the fight. I don't know. Cause 2 different orthopedic people had different opinions. Mm-hmm. And right then I felt it, and I just felt my whole body. Like it was a level of pain I've never experienced, but I was so pumped up on adrenaline too. But I was also, it was like weirdly serene. Is that the word? Serene?
Yeah.
Maybe like copacetic. I was smooth, but I also recognized like, oh shit, I'm in an ass kicking contest, and my leg isn't working. So now every step I've got to make, if I step wrong, my leg's going to give out. I just know my body really well. It's how I've been able to get pretty far and train so much without like steroids or shit like that. Cause I listened to my body. My body was like, your leg's broke. Time to be super methodical with each punch, every step you take. And I'm way more bouncy. So that was hard. Really, really hard.
So obviously when you realize you're injured in the middle of a fight, it's a different decision of, do I keep fighting or not? But if you had known going into the fight that your leg was broken, would you have taken the fight? And the reason I asked that question is because there was a guy on Dana White Contender Series who knew his leg was broken. He broke it in training, hit it, and then fought anyways because he didn't want to, lose that opportunity. And I'm curious what your mindset is as far as going into a fight injured like that.
Yeah, it'd be the same. Bellator was very, open with like where I was at, with my career, and what opportunities I was going to get in the future, and it was do or die. So I went in there, when my leg was fully given out in like the 3rd round, and I was on his back like a monkey. I was like, you ain't going fucking nowhere, dude. I am humping you to the ground. Like I told myself that. I'm like, I just got to hump my way to freedom. I got to outwork this guy. Like I know there's more to it. And then he was like kind of doing these stupid little like elbows, and everybody was like, whoa. And I'm like, dude, that's don't do it. My wife hits me harder than that in the leg when I walk by. She'll freaking, beam me and give me a little Charlie horse. I would have, had I known my my leg was broken before that fight, I still would have done it. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and I think most people would, and that's crazy. Like that, there's like something in your guys' brains that non-fight people don't know.
Yeah, it's off. Well, some people do, some people don't. There's like, it just depends on where you're at in life, and where I'm at in life. I have big decisions coming up, and frankly, it's like I don't need fighting. I did fighting as a way to overcome a lot of abusive issues I had growing up, just a whole life of shit struggle. And for once, this was the first sport I was good at, despite what a bunch of, trolls on the internet want to say. The facts are the facts. I went undefeated 12 fights in a row with like 10 finishes or something like that. And then had to take a lot of time off, and it clearly affected my performance in a certain way. And then still came back off of losses after having never lost and fought 2 of the toughest people to date. I think I have pretty good stock in terms of like where I'm at as a featherweight. But at this point now in my life, like, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm 25 now. I've been on my own since I was like a teenager. So it's kind of weird. I feel old.
You're not old.
I know, but I feel old. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. You feel mature. You feel mature.
Since I was like 16, dude. Stupid.
Old is bad. Mature is good. Say you feel mature.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at with fighting. I'm like, I want to see some cool stuff happening now. I've put in the work. I've taken the damage. That's why I don't like certain people that just pop into the sport and skip the line. Because you got some freaking, what do the kids call clout? You got some clout on YouTube. because you have some funny viral videos. Like, that's bullshit, dude. Blood, sweat, and tears in this thing, dude. We go out there and we prepared to die in every fight. It's different than grappling. It's different than wrestling matches and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
You
know. So back to Submission Underground.
Yeah. I'm at my gym, so like people are always walking by. I'm like,
yeah, walking by. What's he doing in there? Who's he talking to? I'm curious. I know there's probably not a lot you can tell us, but about kind of the unique situation about, no one knows where this location is. We don't really know what's going on. Like, what was that like? What can you tell us?
It's just a lot funnier than people think, That for me personally, I have my own shoot, man. I don't want to say anything without getting in trouble. I got the cool info right now. You don't get to know. Like, that's the coolest thing ever. My uncle back in the day used to work. He was working on a computer program for like a nuclear jet that carried nuclear missiles. And he's like, I never got to talk about it until it wasn't cool to talk about it. And that's how I feel right now. I can't really tell you anything other than it's safe. We get the location where we meet up, we follow our little trail of vehicles to where we're going, and then that's that, and it's clean, it's as clean as it can be in its little secret location. I'm not too stressed out. I live a pretty like inclusive life already, and I don't really have any immunocompromised people in my life, so it's not like a super big threat in that sense either. So I'm not like worried if that's another thing that we're getting at.
Right. Oh yeah, totally.
There's no real opportunity for that to happen anyways. Like, that the way they run it.
Right.
Nobody's getting touched unless you want to touch them. I don't care.
What's it like competing with no crowd?
Oh, that doesn't matter. I have issues. I have no problem with that.
Well, I found most fighters actually prefer it. Do you prefer it?
No, I like the hate too. Like, it fuels me and motivates me. Like, my last fight, people were yelling like a lot of like gay stuff at me, which is like weird.
Really?
Like, I guess I give off gay vibes, which is whatever, I don't care. I'm married to a woman. Not that that matters.
Yeah.
Also, that doesn't matter to people, there are double lives, but they just love yelling that stuff at me, and that cracks me up because I'm like, so straight. It's not even funny, man. I'm as straight as this roll of tape. No, I'm kidding. I'm pretty straight. And so I like the crowd. It gets me hyped up. I like performing in front of people, but I also just like competing. So it doesn't matter. Like, no crowd didn't bug me at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with that actually, because it was quiet and I could like whisper things to the guys. Like, I'm excited to do that. Hopefully you guys won't hear it because I like to talk.
Well, now I'm going to have to listen for it.
I'm going to whisper so nobody can hear it because I say pretty fucked up things. Psychological warfare. Yeah.
So you mentioned your after school program. I want to hear about that. I legitimately do. I really have interest in that. I'm not just asking.
It's a nonprofit, and it's like 2 to 6 Monday through Friday. A lot of the schools in our area, it's like all ages. We're trying to keep it like elementary school, junior high. I'm not really expecting a lot of high school kids to go, "Ooh, let me get into the freaking," it's hard. High school kids are just so tough. That'll have to be a challenge I try to figure out later. I have an idea for a program for high school kids, but this is more, K through 8 or whatever. In Oregon it's different. It's like K through 7 is elementary. I don't know. I don't care. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tweens and kids, and then a whole nother thing for the teenagers that I'll work on. But the after school program that I have right now is basically a 3-hour program that we're working on, where it's an hour of decompression, kind of just vibing with them every day, seeing how they're going. It's like low-level counseling essentially too. Like, we're shitty counselors. We're good people, we're just not like legitimate counselors. We're just going to be their friends. We're going to hang out and talk to them, play some games that are more like martial arts related. And now once we've gotten all that energy of like, oh, I've been sitting in school all day, bam, we get right to homework. So an hour of decompression, an hour of homework. And if they don't have homework, they're tutoring, helping each other, or we've got some kind of STEM project that we're going to work on, STEM. You have a kid, right?
I do.
So yeah, you understand. And then the last hour is martial arts. So 3 hours of a program every day, and then pick up at the end of the class. And most days it'll be jujitsu, wrestling, self-defense based, and then some days it'll be striking, and then one of those days we'll have a little bit of everything, a little MMA, kid fight club action, you know what I'm talking about, sell some pay-per-view. Yeah. That's a joke.
I think it sounds good.
Yeah, that's it. And it's like, the idea is, it's like, we won't really have like a membership for it. Like, it'll be FAFSA based, where it's like income. Well, so based on your income, you submit the paperwork to us, application. And so all of them is application based members. And then we'll sponsor as many kids as we can. And then the people that unfortunately make a decent amount of money will have to pay a certain membership fee to be a part of it. Yeah. But that goes towards those that can't afford it. That's kind of the way it works, right? I mean, that's what people are looking for anyways. And so we're hoping to get a couple grants. We have a really cool grant writer who went to college for all that stuff. So we'll see how that goes. And that's going to be my main focus. And so I'd like to get that. To me is more important than any stupid ass fight, you know, that entertains the masses. That's cool and all, but this can, like, I expect to have 300 kids in my program in another year or two. And that is real. That is real stuff you can do for the community. So I'm more excited about giving back in that sense. So that's why I'm like, give me some fights, figure it out, so that I can go back to what I really want to do with my life. So.
Well, you mentioned being a free agent. Do you have, like, are you considering it being like the end of MMA, or are you really interested in continuing on? Like, what, you know?
Like I said, I love fighting. Yeah. I love fighting. Okay. I got plenty of reasons to fight every day. When someone cuts me off in traffic, or they, you know, take that Zevia container. There's only like so many Zevias at the freaking health store down by my gym. And these people snatch them up, and I got to go in there on Mondays and get all this Zevia. You know what I'm saying? Because Zevia won't sponsor me because I'm not cool enough, right?
Or you're too cool. Remember that you're too cool.
Too cool, or I'm too cool, because whatever. I know I'm cooler than Mighty Mouse and the Diaz bros, and well, not the Diaz guys. Maybe we'll see. I bet I'd be, you know, whatever. That's a different story. I would love to keep fighting if the opportunities are correct. You know, there's a number in my head, and I don't care who it's from. I'm a consistent guy. You know, I show up. I've missed weight once, and that was on a short notice call. You know, I was sick, all sorts of bullshit excuses, and I only missed it by like a pound. So, like, dude, back off, get off my nuts. Yeah. Like, you call someone for a short notice fight against a killer, which was Taiwan, right? And I said, yeah, I signed it that day. Like, I signed everything within an hour of getting it. Like, there's no Robin. I was like, oh, Glory Champ, whatever, let's do it. Let's get it done. But I need to do this program. It's something I've committed in my brain. It's something I see myself doing long term. And then in the future, building off of this program is a teenage program where it's like farming and self-sustainability mixed with martial arts. So basically a farm where they learn how to do that, grow crops, you know, basic skills that they used to teach us in school, but they don't, right? Like, we're stupider as a nation now than we've ever been. No offense to anybody who feels like they're stupid. You know, but like, we are, statistically speaking, we're stupider. So we need to help them out. And I think teenagers would be much more interested in that, learning like trades and sustainability things like farming, right? And then martial arts, and then go to college or do whatever, you know, whatever. You got to dip your hand in the trade. Like, you know, for 2 weeks, we'll be doing like blacksmithing. 2 weeks, it'll be, you know, learning about plumbing and utilities, electrical work, you know, frame, all that stuff, like literally all the trades.
Sorry, your speaker is not connected.
My Alexa just freaked out. You know, that was scary.
I just got a text at the same time. I felt like technology is like
freaking out on us. So that's my teenage program. So there's the kids program and then the teenage program. And then it's like, oh, we've been doing this, and then bam, check it out, in this greenhouse, mats and bags. Let's get to work. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, final question, and it's a little bit selfish, but I hope that other people will get the knowledge as well. What kind of advice would you give to somebody who's just starting in jiu-jitsu?
This is going to make you laugh. Everybody says this, and I'm going to explain what they just breathe, right? Just breathe. Like, focus on breathing. When you're on bottom, you're a ball. And when you're on top, you're a wet blanket. Like, those are like the three biggest things. And then I always, I like the expression, protect your castle. The goods, as I call it to the adults, right? Protect your goods. Men, women, whatever you identify as, these are our goods. Nobody wants to be pinching our parts. protect your goods, right? And as a kid, on the bottom, you're a ball. Hard to smush a ball, right? And then when you're on top, smush the ball. That's it.
That's awesome.
That's like literally, those are the 3 biggest things, you know. And then 4, protect your castle, be a ball, focus on your breathing, and you know, when you're on top, be a wet blanket.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for talking to me today.
Yeah.
And
sorry for rambling.
No, that's okay. Good luck in the next couple days. 2 days from now, right?
Yeah,
I
I
don't know
got
what
some
day it is anymore. Sunday?
secret work I'm doing today, so I'm ready. I'm ready for it.
Awesome. We'll be watching. Congratulations.
Awesome.
Bye.
Thank you.